What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. Got a special client interview here. My man Nolan and his parents. Um, to put it lightly, Nolan's had some crazy results in the program so far, but I don't want to steal all his thunder. Nolan, go ahead, introduce yourself, where you go to school, age, where you're from.
My name's Nolan. I am a class of 2027 out of Western Mass at Westwood High School.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. One of many Western Mass guys in the program. But so kind of going back to before you started with me, where were you at velo wise, and what were you doing like for your baseball training?
In game, I was sitting around like 81 to 83, maybe like an 84, 85 topping. And then training wise, I was just like guessing what to do with like all my lifting, mobility, and throwing like that. And I was working with a one-on-one pitching coach. She was a great coach, but you know, couldn't like learn a lot in just 1 week. I mean, 1 day of seeing him per week, it's just not enough to, you know, put it like into your skills.
Yeah, 100%. So you're saying once a week it wasn't enough to actually make the transformation that you wanted to see.
Yeah, not enough development.
100%, dude.
Yeah.
So going a little bit deeper into that, like what specifically did you need to work on before you joined? Maybe was it something with your mechanics, your strength, or kind of all the above?
I think it was a little bit of everything. My frame could use some work. I put on about 15 pounds since we started. And then for my mechanics, I flew open and then we kind of fixed my direction a little bit, made it a lot better, a lot cleaner, and I gained some miles per hour so far.
Yeah, bro. Talk about that a little bit. What kind of results have you gotten so far?
So in my bullpens before we started, I was topping around high 70s, maybe 80 or 81. Now I've been like 84 to 85, and I got my pull down up to 90 miles an hour too.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. We've seen some big gains here. It's been super fun to watch you, bro.
Yeah.
Seriously. But th this next one's for your parents. So, Michael and Julie, what has your view of Nolan's training been, before he started with me compared to where he's at now?
Well, he did have his one-on-one coaching, which was good. However, the big however is he never really had like a regular, consistent structure to his training. And I'm not part of his training, it's all him. However, you, coach, have given him quite the structure and quite the consistency that he needs to get to where he is now, actually. It's night and day. It's kind of funny when it was just kind of like off the cuff noticing him. He seems so much bigger. I mean, he's still growing, mind you, but he's put on so much weight. He's athletic looking. He's taking his athleticism a lot more seriously right now. I think that's the bottom line.
Yeah.
And I think that's something that you emphasize in all your videos and in all your philosophy is basically that, which is great.
Yeah, because athleticism is the foundation. If you don't
Absolutely.
have it, it's hard to make progress in any sport, let alone,
100%.
pitching.
Absolutely.
But I appreciate you saying that for sure.
Yep.
And for anybody watching this one's for you, Nolan, who might want to know what it's like actually inside of the program if they haven't joined a remote program in the past. What does that kind of look like, and how is our communication?
The communication's just really consistent. You get back pretty quickly most of the time and have the one-on-one calls to really go over everything in the program and stuff like that. And it makes it a lot easier to like make mechanical cues every day and like fixes I need to do compared to the coach where he just sees you once a week, but then you can reinforce it every single day, kind of make it better and quicker.
Yeah, for sure, dude. For sure. I think that's super accurate to say. And who do you think this program would benefit most? Like, what kind of player or what kind of pitcher would benefit most from joining a program like this?
Definitely kids who just like they work really hard. Definitely high school pitchers. They go in, day out, training. Kids who are just dedicated to the game and want to get better.
100%, dude. Who is this not for? Who shouldn't join this program?
Uh, uh,
Lazy kids.
Lazy,
It's
sad.
all work.
Absolutely. You'd say the same, Nolan.
Yeah. Yeah, you said what I was gonna say.
Sorry,
Love
sir.
it.
That's okay.
Stealing his thunder. That's so funny. But to kind of, address all of you guys, I think this is your first time you said inside of a remote program. So were you skeptical at first about remote training? And then, based on what you've seen now, have those views kind of changed?
I wasn't very skeptical going into it because I've seen it for years now, but my parents were definitely very skeptical about it.
I think I was because I'm very like I'm more of like a hands-on, gotta like watch and yeah, he loves when I give him little hugs. Yeah, I guess I just didn't know how you could really make him better by just seeing him virtually and not actually being live with him. But I've definitely have seen like a huge escalation in his athleticism overall in this short period is insane.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah, I think a lot of parents especially, aren't super familiar with the idea of remote training. And, obviously, Nolan, you knew about it because it's something that, baseball training is moving towards the remote side. So appreciate you guys saying that, and I'm
Yes,
happy
sir.
that your view on remote training has changed. But as a family, what ultimately maybe pushed you guys over the edge or decided to, come to the decision ultimately that you were going to join my program?
Well, I think for when we were kind of trying to decide to do this or not, I think the ultimate deciding factor is what was best for Nolan and what his future, what he wants to do long term, which is continue to do well playing baseball at, a good program at a good college. And we just wanted to make sure that he did it the way he wants to do it, how he wants to achieve it. So,
I personally, through last summer in his travel baseball, especially, I you can see his talent. He obviously has talent. However, there wasn't really any channel for development. The coaches that they have for that type of situation, they're kind of limited. They're good. They're definitely good, taking nothing away from them. But I think pitching is a weird thing where you need a lot of work and specialized programs. You can't just walk into it and just be a natural. You have to develop it. And he didn't have that over the summer and in his high school. And having someone like you, Eric, definitely just you saw the good points of what he can do and you developed those. I think I'm glad we found you to be able to do that.
Yeah, I'm glad to I'm glad to have been able to do that and continue doing that. So I
Yeah,
appreciate
yeah,
you
yeah,
guys.
yeah.
But okay. What would you say to somebody right now, like Nolan, honestly, you can answer this, who's maybe on the fence about joining, who doesn't know if remote training is going to work for them?
Can you repeat the question?
You're good, man. What would you say to somebody right now who is maybe on the fence about joining my program and thinks that remote training doesn't work?
I was probably on the fence too when I first started, but then I saw progress with all of your athletes, and then like you told me on our like joining call that I'd have every day like an everyday plan set in, and I won't have to guess anymore, and it would just overall help me develop a lot faster than what I was doing then.
For sure, dude. For sure. So you're saying the consistent communication and feedback as well as a plan gave you all the tools you needed to succeed.
Yes, sir.
100%, my man. 100%. Well, I appreciate you guys jumping on. That's going to wrap up this interview. Julie, Michael, Nolan, thank you guys. And if you want to see results like Nolan, all you have to do, click the first link in the description below and book a call with me. I'll see you guys on the next one.